G'day folks, I'm Murray, this is my backyard. I've been doing monthly walkthroughs of the garden around the tank and the veg patch. I'm going to do that again. What I've also done this month is a massive amount of videoing and editing to put together basically what I've done in the last month, so you can sort of see behind the scenes what's been going on. There's even a taste test of a tomato. There are timestamps in the description. You can skip ahead. Whatever, if you want to skip ahead to just the walkthrough, that's going to be near the end of the quite long video. I hope you like it. Let's go. Our neighbour's been getting a house pad together and came up with a lot of fairly rubbishy soil. I mean, it's good clean fill, nothing wrong with it, which I've got a use for. But the last couple of loads have included something that's quite close to topsoil. You'd never use this stuff in a garden, or that. That's a possibility. But some of these guys here, I mean, this looks pretty good. Not like that at all. I mean, that's just clay and horror. You would not want that in the veg patch. But some of this stuff, minus the rocks, this is just our local soil type. This will be just fine. I'm using the typical loading method, which is a heap of tubs on the back of the ute and a container I fill with soil, throwing away the rocks and lumps and stuff like that. But surprisingly, most of the lumps were actually lumps of compacted soil, and there weren't that many in there. So this stuff, I think it's fantastic. This is me at a storage pile under a big common mango tree. I've got a fair bit of stuff under here for later or when I need it. I only need a few of these, but I'm grabbing a couple of extras just in case, because I could need them and I don't want to go all the way back down here for just one or two more bricks. The new bed is back here. It's going to eventually come straight down from here. I don't have a piece of wood that's the right size, and I'm not going to cut one for this. I'm going to temporarily put some double height bricks in here and make a temporary barrier that I'm later going to trade out for a piece of wood. I'm going to be cutting a heap of this timber for the garden bed extension, so I'll get something the right size. This is extremely rocky. It's going to be L-shaped. I'm going to be using this to get around in there, and I'll probably put a stepping stone in somewhere. The water used to run down this hill when we got big rain, and straight through here, down that path, and out there, and down the hill, straight down there. This area has been stripped bare repeatedly. It's extremely rocky, which is why a bunch of soil is going to help. I don't know how much 200 litres of soil is going to fill this area by. It could be up to the top of that log, or I might even get some more. I'm going to rake this grass off. I'm going to neaten up down here with the sawdust, which, as you can see, I've gone up to there with it over there, and I've gone to about there with it there, where I ran out, and I have a little bit left in case I need to top anything up, in case I've missed a spot. But this is actually ripped, not sawdust, so it's long spirals from when I used to cut firewood, and it seems to pack really well. But yeah, I'll take that sawdust, wood out of there, rake that out, and I think I might have a go with the pitchfork and try and loosen it up before I lay extra soil on top. Once I've had a go at that, if I get bored with the pitchfork, I might pin this down and see how that goes. L-shaped, it's wider there than it is here.
It'll be good to reclaim an area of the garden. Well, expand. Step 1, salvage the wood chips. Step 2, salvage the mulch. And step 3, this was a big step. Digging this through is going to break up what seems to be a very hard surface and is going to help moisture penetrate more deeply. There's a bit of a concern I had that if I didn't do this, then I would water and it would go down so deep and then just sheet off downhill because it couldn't permeate this layer that is the top of this crusty, hard, rocky area. Once you get the pitchfork in and loosen up one area, it makes it a fair bit easier to just expand that loose zone. But this was a tough job. Well, I'm going to try a fairly short picket cut off first. See if I can get that down to about level. See if it goes in at all. I like it. I guess time for the bricks. Should need 4, I think. I am going to get an extra couple to hold this corner here in. Sorry, we should need 3 bricks. The 230mm bricks, about a 700mm gap, so 3 of them should be 690. The width of the gap is a bit up in the air because obviously I haven't measured it since the other day. Okay, let's see. Eventually the wood's going to be out there, so I'll take this a little wider. Hello, magpie. How are you? Would you like some food? Maybe a bale? So there's going to be some attachments around here to hold that in place and to hold that there, and I'll probably put a stake back here. I just dug this area over. Do you want to look? Could be good. Bit rocky though. Bale? Okay, never hurt you. Okay, let's go get sorted for a bale. Next step, 14 containers of dirt. Comes up this way. Actually, hold on that. Next step, fertilise in there after a quick rake. Then dirt. Ooh, that's a bit too big. And that. Rock pile jobs. Rock pile. Well, that'll hold some moisture and provide some nutrients when the roots get down to that level. Okay. I don't think it needs twice as much. And we're pretty mounded down here, well, up here. Maybe 8 or 10. But not another 14. Okay, that's a job for another day. I've got to go water. Morning. The blue-faced honeyeaters are hanging out in the banana trees waiting for me to leave. Ah, sun's nearly up. Shut up. Okay, some more organic fertiliser. Why not? And I'm going to put some buckwheat in, a bit of a cover crop, and a green manure. Not that familiar with buckwheat, but the weather's started to cool off, so it might do well. Bigger handfuls might be the trick. This should grow fast enough to stifle any weeds that are actually in this dirt or soil. I'm still not sure whether it's dirt or soil. It's good looking stuff. I like it. Every time I look at it, it seems to be better than I thought it was. I've got a full load of tubs. So I've got 7 left. They're a bit fuller this time because I had no trouble with the weight last time. Yep, bearing in mind I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to call that done. Awesome.
why not? Call that done. If anything, I might have put a bit too much soil in there. It will probably settle down a bit, but I'm going to have trouble mulching down that side because it's going to want to come over the top of that piece of wood. I can whack another one of these down there, or I can shovel it uphill and make a bit of gap down there. I don't know. Too much of a good thing. Is it ever enough? It's only the 2nd of May and I've got my first flowers on the snow peas. Oh no, I finished that this morning. So I really should get some snow peas this month. I thought they were about due. Oh, there's more coming here. Oh, and down there. I thought they were about due and the next month I'd get some, and I should be in clover on this one. That bed took less than 24 hours to put together. I'm really pleased with that. I started about 9:30 on the first and finished about 6:30 on this morning, the second. And it's beautifully wonky, but that'll do me fine. Okay, snow peas. Part 1 prediction, likely to occur.
I was planning on getting rid of the Chinese keys of the fingerroot plants. These guys, there's nothing there for 6 months of the year. Then they come up and they look really good for about 3 months, and then they start to look ratty. That aside, I just don't use the roots. There's 2 types of tubers. There's a growing tuber and there's an eating tuber, and I just don't use them. So just keeping a few plants in the back of the veg patch is enough. I can put something more productive in here. Step 1, dig them out. Now, I don't have to get all of the eating tubers, I just have to try and get all of the growing tubers, and I've probably missed a few. Some of these may come up again later. That's okay, it shouldn't be a problem, I might even leave them. I think I can get about 2 pawpaws in this area here, and this is on the east side of the tank, so it's as good a position as any for them. A couple of weeds over there. Okay, step 1 was weeding. Step 2, I'm going to salvage the mulch. I still have 7 tubs worth of soil, so after a quick fertilise, which I nearly forgot to do, I get the other 7 tubs of soil out of the ute and give it a bit of a level. That's pretty full now, that bed. Old mulch and then more old mulch. I do like to age my mulch. It rots down faster and provides nutrients more quickly to the plants, or to the bacteria that provide the nutrients to the plants. It's all a cycle, and I like to leave a little clump down one end just in case I need to top up. So that's coming there. Mulching, well, I extended the banana bed out a bit so that I had more room in front, and the purpose of that was to add extra mulch from other than in the garden. The mulch from in the garden goes on the back of the bananas, and other mulch can go in front. So this is a good load of mulch. I don't think they're going to grow, but time will tell. Again, an early morning job, all over in the one morning. And as you can see, the sun's up. Glad to have got this done.
Okay, the backstory. I had to cut some pavers. I got some diamond discs to cut through pavers that would go on my normal grinder. I had just bought a nice shiny new Makita saw, and I thought I could get a big disc for a saw of that size, and then I thought, I've never cut pavers before, I don't really want to do that with a brand new saw, and I found a $50 used saw and whacked a disc on that to cut pavers with, and it works. When I had to cut this corrugated iron, I did some research and I found out you can use these to cut it. I specifically found out that you shouldn't use these, but I couldn't work out why. Apparently you should use continuous and not gaps. I have no idea why. This blade has gaps. The question was, is this going to work on corrugated iron or not?
Well, that got the end off it, which was pretty messed up. This is over 5 meters long, so I'm just cutting it twice to get it to about 6 feet in length. It's going to be more manageable, plus I don't need super long lengths of this. Cuts well, not having a problem with the saw, even though there's those gaps in the blade. Not jerky or anything either.
It's 7:30. I've just got back from town, picked up some cardboard from the Electoral Commission, one of the local booths, and it's going to save them dumping it, and I'm going to use it in the new veg patch or elsewhere. And this is a bonus. Last event, which was the referendum, I think, there was only a static base pack, so the closest booth to me must have got a bit bigger. So thank you, AEC, much appreciated. It will go to a good cause. Vegetables.
I decided to use pavers as spacers on top of the sawhorses because it won't hurt if the saw touches them. That's what it's made to cut. And I'm getting a bit cheeky here. I'm going to try and cut 3 slices at once. It worked well on one. If I can cut it 3 at once, it'll save me a lot of time. I've worked out that I can get 4 pieces of even size that are usable. They will be identical pieces, but I have to trim a small amount off the edge. That's what I'm starting with. Obviously I'm using the timber for a guide and clamping it in place. It cuts, it's slower than it was just cutting a single piece, but it's okay because I'm doing 3 at once. I'll get over 20 meters of strips out of this one piece of corrugated iron. I'm going to need at least 30 meters, and I want some extra to play with, so I'm going to have to cut some more. That is, assuming the saw holds up, but it seems to be going well. I'd had enough grinding, so I decided to do some work in the veg patch. I wanted to install yet another trellis for some tomato plants, so I got started on that.
Wow, that's going to be a problem. That was my easy way to pass straight across through there. Might have to put a second piece of string on that. Probably be sensible. Well, these aren't the happiest tomatoes, but I'm confident they will come good. Another pair of rouge de mamons. Okay, one more. Oh, busy day. Just pruned the big banana trees. Mulched the prunings. Watered a few things, but not a full water. Okay, hose time. Well, that'll do for the day.
Another day, another sheet of corrugated iron. The usual 3 cuts acrossways and 4 cuts lengthways. Yeah, 4. 1 and then 3. Yep, 4 cuts lengthways. And another 20 metres of corrugated iron.
Okay, on the thicker of the two blue javas, that is a very short leaf. I'm pretty sure the next thing that's going to come out of there is a flower. Now if we compare it to the ever so slightly thinner one that's also getting a new leaf. That is quite long and hasn't started to unfurl yet. So I'm going to say that's a normal leaf, whereas this guy's just done a flag leaf and is about to give me a bunch of bananas. Well, a bunch of banana flowers followed by a banana or two. We'll see.
Yep, there you go. There's definitely a flower coming on the blue java.
If, unlike me, you're organised, you can take off your unwanted banana suckers when they're quite small, and it's very easy. Bit of a cut. Done. Mine usually get a bit bigger than that and it's a bit more effort. But I just took off 2 that are a bit larger than that, and I thought I'd show you an easy one in case you want to get it right. I've just tidied up this super dwarf Cavendish and removed suckers. There's 2 suckers left. It's pretty tidy, it's pretty good. This dwarf red Dakar has to get fixed up. That might just dig out rather than cut out. It seems to actually be growing off an old parent plant in the back rather than this one. Bargain. I don't have a purpose for this. I'm going to think about it though, rather than just mulch it straight away. Don't need you. Now listen, I don't know how you remove suckers, but if there's a better idea, let me know. For mine, that seems to work pretty well. Very old machete, not a new machete. Okay, we've got 2 suckers. And they're both going in the right direction. I'm going to leave those, I think. Yep, they're both headed uphill. Okay. Now, I can come back to this in a day or two and say, oh, I need to chop that off. I need to do something else. Whatever, but this is, well, that leaf there should go. But this is a quick fix. And yeah, I should do it more often. This definitely got, you know, out of hand somewhat, even though it was very manageable because it's a dwarf tree. Dwarf red Dakar, I haven't had a crop off it yet. I hope it's something I want to keep. If not, well, we live and learn. I've got another one to do. You can see the corrugated iron that's been cut recently. Yay. But you don't know what it's for yet, which is fine. I'm confident it's going to work. Alright. This tree has bananas on it. It is way too small. It's got to go. I'm honestly thinking I'm just going to cut it off so I don't have to disturb the roots of the remaining plant. And that may involve the hammer. And either of the machetes, actually. I could hit this on the back with the hammer. I'm confident it's going to... Okay, yeah, well, I'm confident. Let's give it a shot. Hang on. No deformation along the back. Surprise, surprise. Forged in fire. This is supposed to be 6 to 8 feet tall when it fruits. That's never going to be any good. Okay. I have found quite often that the first banana you plant is too small, and the second one, like that super dwarf Cavendish down there, is actually big enough to have fruit. I don't know if that's universal. I do not have anywhere near enough experience to say that sort of thing yet. This has a disadvantage of being near a work in progress. I only use the Victorinox on little bananas. And usually use the Golok, British Army Golok pattern machete on the others. You know, that was really quick. I think this needs a lot more love and mulch and probably manure. That was... I can't even see... Oh, there's one.
Oh, there's a second. Okay, they are there. It's good to have two suckers, because if you lose one, you've still got a backup. Although that one is a bit of an odd angle, but I can work with that, especially since this bed may be changing configuration. Okay. I've been saying I needed to get some more bales of hay for quite a while now. I got some more bales of hay. They're a little shorter than the last batch, says 20. And I really needed them. I still don't know why I put that black plastic down at the back right there. I mean, I know I was going to kill the grass, but I didn't really need to. I just had 6 by 2 meters of black plastic and thought, why not? It's not a plan. It's something that happened, but okay, no worries. A big part of why I'm doing this video is to show you what goes on behind the scenes to make things happen. And one of those things was the trim deck I'm handling now. To get this trim deck, I had to drive 40k in the ute, cut the 9 meter lengths of trim deck twice so that they'd be about 3 meters long. I got a dozen. I was using a grinder because I hadn't worked out that you could use a circular saw at that stage. Load up the ute, bring it back, stash it down the gully. There were 36 sheets in total. Then I had to get the grinder and cut them into these sections you see here. That's what went on behind the scenes for that trim deck I'm playing with. The camera cut out at some stage, I don't know when, I couldn't hear it. But I've got 2 pickets in and we're on to another stage. I've thought about this a bit, but remember, I'm making it up as I go along. Right. Organising the trim deck was a lot of work up front that I hope will save me a lot of time over the years. The plan is that with overlapping sheets of trim deck overlapping the right way for the mower, along the edges of the garden that I'm going to be mowing, I won't have to whippersnip to keep the edge tidy where it abuts the wall retaining the mulch and soil in the garden. That's going to save me time. Okay, we marry up well, but I'm just going to take a scotch off that corner there. It may only save me 5 minutes every few weeks, but that's going to be hours in 5 years. And that's how we go. We've got a bit of overlap at the back, which is what I need for part of the nefarious plan. It's not that nefarious. I don't even know if it's going to work. Same again, but different. Assume I'd have to whippersnip this 9 meter long section of garden edging once a month, and it takes 5 minutes. That will save me an hour a year. If I do another 9 meter section that I'm going to mow along, that's going to save me another hour a year. Okay, mower's going that way. Should be fine. If I ramp this up to all of the places where I have to whippersnip, it's going to add more hours a year of time saved. That's why I spent the time and effort and money to get this trim deck and to plan to put it in place. I have a plan to make these spots weed resistant. I don't know if it's going to be weed proof. And I'm wondering whether I should underlap cardboard under the edge of the tin, which, as you can see, the tin sticks out a bit, which should give me enough room for the corrugated iron. I'm planning on joining the corrugated iron. I'm going to basically pin it on either side on that post and join the pieces together
probably a couple of rivets and run that all the way along the inside in a straight row to here. Why I'm doing that is to keep the mulch in the garden bed 600mm wide, that's going to run all the way up this edge and straight to that end, which is also going to be corrugated iron. I'm thinking all the way across the back. We'll see. I might have different plans for the back at this stage, but it's important to get moving and think about these things. I have a bit of a plan for trying to keep around the posts weed free. There's only 2 of them, but there's going to be several star pickets, and I need a plan for that too. But after lots of thinking about it, it's starting to take shape slowly, and I should be able to mow around this side, unless I decide to extend the garden bed out and angle and along here. It's quite possible I could put a short banana bed with 3 or 4 bananas in, or 3 bananas in. I don't know, but I feel pretty good that this is going to starting to take shape. But I am probably going to put a style in here, or maybe over here, because it will be quicker to go, yep, over here. So I'm going to probably bring this out further and cut and mess with this iron. So yeah, this area is going to get messed with, I reckon. With a 60cm bed across here, 2 foot, I may as well marry the style straight up to where the path is going to be, rather than in the middle of a bed. I was going to put it halfway between these 2 pickets, about here, but if I'm running sort of 7.5 metre beds that way, I'd have to go in and around and out that way, as opposed to just going straight through.
This should make things a bit clearer. The black is where the paths are going to be. They're going to be covered in black Weedmat, so that's why they're black. The blue lines are the edges of the garden beds, and it does make sense to put the stile in the bottom left-hand corner and aligned with the path that's going to go straight to the existing veg patch. So you just walk over the fence at the bottom left-hand corner straight onto that path.
So I would definitely go straight through more. I will still use the gate, I'm sure, but from the post on the right down there, the gate post on the right, I'm going to be able to walk through that, straight through there, at least down the end here. It depends on how I change the bed configuration at the back. Okay, I haven't done much, but I'm happy with it because the plan seems to be working. And it looks like it's going to work, but there will be many tribulations along the way. I would kind of like to have the other side of it, the old painted side of the roof facing outwards. Not quite sure why. I have a new set of containers. I was going to say bucket, but they're not really a bucket. Bit of manure. Okay. Over here, this fell off the bottom of that bale. So, might as well add that to the mix. This is Comfrey, Rocking 14, I think. Okay, water. I think about there. Don't need to put it on all the way. That thing should cook quite nicely. Off-white fondant.
The goal of this session was to get a single piece of corrugated iron in up against the post heading to the south toward the veg patch. There was a little hiccup with the second star picket.
There's some kind of void down there. Star pickets just don't suddenly bang in a foot with one hit. Something funny down there. It might be an old dead tree stump that's rotted out. I have no idea, but it's not a good spot to put a star picket in. I probably don't need one in here, but I'm going to try a little bit this way, I guess.
In case you're wondering about the shirt, I've lost quite a few old favourites to natural attrition lately. I have a bunch of these old shirts in the cupboard taking up space. I don't seem to need them anymore. I'm going to use them. I'm going to trash them. They're comfortable. They do the job. They're just ugly and boring. I don't need trim deck at the back because this is going to be a mulch bed where all of the leaf matter and green waste from the garden gets chucked straight over the back fence into a bed. Behind that are going to be some plants that are going to be feeding off the materials that are breaking down in the mulch bed. This is a really simple fixing method. You need a couple of holes, you need a piece of wire, poke it through the holes, repeat for the lower one. I figure these should be fixed in 2 places, then pop round the back. Here I usually twist the 2 wires over and then get onto it with the 12-inch. I love 12-inch pliers, they're fantastic. Repeat. And then I curl the ends of the wire in a little bit just to cut down the risk of being scratched. This is one of those nesting doll type of tasks where I have to pull this apart before I can get to an area of the garden I have to get to so that I can continue to build the new garden bed. So it's not many steps here, but this is just, there's so much to do to build a new garden bed. And of course I had to take this stuff away and get rid of the pallets.
I've just disposed of some pallets. I've had a good look at these soil piles. That's good. Lots of grass, close to the surface. That's pretty good. Not so good. Not so good. Intermediate. Yep. I think this is carrying a bit more clay than the finest soil. It could be worked with, but I think I will give it a pass. It's quite similar to that one, but that has more grass in it, so that one is better than this one. Solid fill, but rubbish soil or dirt. Rubbish at the back. And 2 good ones with some serious amounts of grass. That one in the middle is the one that I took some from, and the one at the end is a possibility. Ooh. Not a lot of grass in it, but it doesn't look terrible. So, yes, I was here. That one, and the one with grass in it over the other side of the ute. Those are the 3 best, and there's plenty of soil there, so I think those are the 3 I'll use for everything.
I was a bit worried that the manure bins were going to get in the way of the Moringa tree removal operation. I don't want 2 trees in the garden. On top of that, they're falling apart, and because of all the rain we've had, I'm not likely to get any more manure in the near term. And let's face it, they were pretty ugly. These two Moringa were both grown from cuttings. Normally a seed develops a large subterranean tuber called a lignotuber for Moringa plants, and this one doesn't seem to have it, and I can't tell if this one has it because it could have broken off, but I don't think they would develop a lignotuber from a cutting. I am going to take some cuttings off these guys. I have found the woodier chunks are better than the greener growing tips, so I'm going to do that probably tomorrow. I mean, that looks pretty good to me, that size and that size, the smaller of the two trunks. And now I'm going to put that chain away, I guess. It's starting to get dark. And tomorrow is going to be a chore day rather than a veg patch day, I'd say. But I'm not far off being able to get sorted for a, what was it, 600mm bed, 2 foot down the side here, all the way to 2 foot from that end. It's going to be done in stages. I have to do the path and the edging on that side as well at the same time, or there's going to be trouble. So there's a lot more to it than just whacking in an edge and another edge and filling it in with good soil from down the gully. Many, many steps and a lot of thought. And no magpies today. Or yesterday. I did see one of the magpies down at the gully, and it was an adult, but it didn't come over. Okay, getting dark. Okay, Weedmat. If you cut it, you end up with streaky bits everywhere, and that's undesirable. So I'm going to do a little experiment on some scrap here with a hot knife. The question I want to answer is, can you cut multiple layers with a hot knife, or will it glue them together? If I'm going to go down here with a hot knife and that it's going to basically weld all of the pieces together, this won't be a shortcut. If on the other hand it works, I can do long strip. I'm going to be doing multi-meter strips of this stuff. Okay. So if I can do it in half, a quarter, a tenth the time, that will be good. Okay, so super hot, or just not, I'll move this a bit to one side. I've just got this to keep it taut. It's mild and then there's strong. Since we're doing multiple layers, I'll go hot.
Well, it's better than scissors. Okay, so that's about 1 metre. Ideally I want 9 metre strips. Wonder how it is if I just do 2 layers. I was planning on using the lines to sight when I have to cut for real. Okay, that's the other side. Very little on the tufa side. How's this bit look? A little bit of stick, but not nearly as much. More plastic if you do it 4 layers. Okay, so I can do. I'm thinking doubled over. Oh, half the time if I do quadruple. I'll have a think about it. Hello guys. I think it's guys. I'll tell you what, I'll do you a bale. These are the rather sad Rouge de Marmande plants that I put in, the tomatoes, on this trellis. And here's 2 that I started from cuttings. After these guys were put in, they were also cutting plants. I'm going to, let's see, put 1 in back there and 1 in back there, and after a while, whichever's doing better, I'm going to leave. These guys haven't fully rooted. The soil may fall off them when I try and put them in the ground, but I really don't want to put 2 more plants in somewhere, and I want these out of the nursery, so they're going in today.
The plan is to have enough tomatoes, not masses and masses and masses of tomatoes. I got a bit lucky here. These roots were a bit more advanced than I thought they might be, and the dirt balls around the roots held together. These plants are going to grow well, I'm sure. I'm angling them forward because I'm going to weave them in and out of the trellis as the primary means of support. I'm sure I'll be removing the first 2 tomatoes I planted here in the next couple of days.
As cover crop / green mulch, the buckwheat has failed. I'd say most of this is young cooch. That could be a buckwheat. Another one back there. This is cider retusa, I'd say. Herbal, a weed of herbal use. That could be another buckwheat. That's a terrible strike rate. I have some younger seed. I'm going to try it again. There's been a change of plans already because I couldn't find the fresher seed that I have. I'm going to use daikon radish. Spread it fairly thickly. I was going to bring the rake out and rake it in. Instead though, I'm going to try and plant it, or slightly bury it, with the oscillating stirrup because I do want to kill what I think is cooch grass. Fairly generous here. This is crazily generous actually, so. Okay. Mind you, even this seed's getting old. Now if I can avoid damaging what I think are the buckwheat plants, that would be good. And basically muller everything else and then give it a water. Oscillating styropor. Oops. I do want to go uphill more than downhill now that I think about it. Soil has a tendency to sink downwards. Trying to keep 3 buckwheat plants alive does seem a bit pointless. You know what, I'm just going to assume that that has adequately planted the radish. And I could be right. Checking in on the tea. Oh yeah, that looks disgusting. Yep. I'm not going to need that as soon as I thought I would need it because of the fact that the buckwheat has been, I'm going to just say it's a failure. Didn't appear. So I've got plans for that. They involve the bed with the buckwheat in it and now the radish in it. But there's another couple of steps before I'm going to be able to use this for the intended purpose. I'm increasingly thinking that I'm going to have to move the blue javas. I like the bananas, but they are enormous. Much larger than the neighbouring ordinary Cavendish. If I take those out and put another Cavendish in and continue to walk them all up the hill to the right, I think I could set up a blue java bed across the back. And because of the fact that there's shade from 3 o'clock in the afternoon that comes through anyway, having tall blue javas somewhere behind the veg patch won't really hurt anything. Plants will have sun until, well, it depends on how far back I go and how steep the slope is, and it's a moderate slope. So I'd want to, here's the edge of the veg patch, I'd want to move them back a bit, say 2 meters, 7 foot. What the heck was that? There's an old rotted out tree stump down there and something's had a fish down there or has decided to move in. Yeah, okay. Yep, so possible blue java bed across the back here, but not behind the veg patch extension down there. I do not want blue javas across the back here because they'd be difficult to maintain with that slope to their left. Okay, constant musings. I do love this particular Ablamoschus manioc. Its leaves are so varied. All the same plant, all clones of a single plant, all weirdly odd. It's really cool. Well, earlier today I took a bunch of old star pickets to a friend's place and chopped them down. I'm going to use these to stake the garden beds into the ground and hold them up. Pretty much sure it's only going to be the internals that are going to need these.
I decided to look into the next couple of pieces of edging, and then I remembered that there was something that I have to do before I mess with the edging.
Okay, I cut a small, roughly square shaped piece of builder's plastic. This is plan 1. Plan 2 involves a hammer. Jeremy Clarkson would be proud. Let's see if I can get this to vaguely work. No. Well, it might help. It might help resist weeds. Yeah, okay, that's better than nothing. Oh, fingers crossed.
Right, now back to where I'd started. A couple of pieces of wood and a clamp will hold the 2 pieces of corrugated in place, and I can see what it's going to look like. A little bit of grinding. A little check. A little bit more grinding.
Just a little plan I had to make sure that this sat a bit closer to the pickets. I could have cut more out of here, but I thought this will help hold everything upright and in place on a that way and that way, north-south, east-west, sorry, axis. Close, north-south, east-west. I've also left enough overlap here that I can make any adjustments I need while keeping that bedded where I've cut it. Okay, well, that's going to work. This was another test. I should probably tell you what these scrappy looking posts are, because you're probably thinking there's some garbage timber I salvaged or found somewhere. Have you ever heard of inland rosewood? It's a wattle. Oh, the name will come to me. This is one of the hardest woods known to man, and all of the posts in the veg patch are inland rosewood. It is crazy hard. If you cut a piece off, it will sink. There's a very narrow band of soft outer wood on it, followed by wood so hard termites will break their teeth on it. I'm not kidding. This stuff has lasted in ground for over 100 years in some parts of the country which have big termite problems, as opposed to the gum down here that's half rotted out already. So it might not look like much, but the density of this timber is out of this world, and the way I've planted it in the ground, I don't think these need support because I dig very narrow holes. So yeah, this could outlast me by many, many years, even though they look like some kind of garbage wood I found somewhere. I've cut this, I've got a little collection of it, it grows on my place. I value it highly. It doesn't look great. Acacia redoxylon. I've just remembered. This is Acacia redoxylon.
I have a roll of 110mm hinge joint fencing in the shed. A couple of weeks ago, I cut some 2-metre lengths of it. This is what I make my square trellises out of. I didn't film cutting it, that's just way too boring. But the making of the trellises may be of interest to you. You may not have hinge jointed fencing, but you may be able to use something else that you've got lying around. I really love just being able to put up a trellis anywhere I want one and use it for as long as it's handy, and then I can move it somewhere else or put a different plant on it. So I'm just loving having these things. I'm really glad I thought of the idea, but the roll of hinge joint fencing is a little expensive for the average backyard gardener. Right, let's go through the process. Straighten out the wire, put a plank on it. I'm using 280mm as my spacing. 2 bends on one side, and then I go for a bend on the other side. It seems to work out best this way. Then I'll lean it on something to get some height and twitch some wire around it. I use the pliers to curl the ends back. Repeat in the middle, and then the far end. I've left the ends of the wire quite long on one end. I do it all the time. I twitch these down and squish them so that they're not sharp and pointy. I usually straighten them up a bit at the end. The wire can be bent to start with. It can get a bit bent in the process. Repeat 6 times. You've got 6 trellises.
It's been a wee while since I put in any snow peas. A bit longer than I should have. But now I've got trellises. This area, pawpaw seeds, baby pawpaws. I've got room in between. It should do nothing to interfere with the pawpaws. And I'm thinking a bit further back than this. 4 more snow peas. Hey, stand up. Then jicama. Then some more snow peas, and I can pretty much do all 3 of those in the next day or so, because I don't care if the snow peas are that far apart. It's still spaced and there's something between them. I just think the jicama should climb more, and I think I'll just leave these 2 here as a convenient spot for them, not intending to use them right away, but probably future snow peas at that end. Hey, it could be more jicama. That's pretty tasty stuff. The texture is fantastic, and you know, there is an apple element, and it's sweet and crunchy, and I've got plenty of seeds. Okay, well, get started at one end.
This garden bed faces east, so it's pretty prime real estate here. I decided to put the snow pea seeds straight in on the 1st and the 3rd trellises. I'm just planting them now. It's a great spot. They should get full sunlight until the sun goes down past the water tank. So that might be 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm not really sure. I've never checked on it, but I think morning sun will be fine for these guys until they get high enough up the trellises, if they ever do, to reach the sun for longer. These went in a treat much faster than expected. It's pretty simple. Star picket, trellis, string, done. Ready to plant, ready to go. One of the reasons why I love these things. And I didn't get distracted by anything today. Quick hose.
I've just looked up planting jicama seeds. Apparently I'm supposed to soak them overnight in warm water to soften the seed casing. I'm not going to try that straight away. I'm just going to try planting the little sods. Seeds want to grow. Something that's always annoyed me is people on any packet of peas or beans say plant seeds, soak well when you plant, and then don't water until seedlings appear. I water those seeds every time I water everything else, and I have no trouble. I'm 100% on snow pea seedlings this year. There's a seed lost in my pocket. As the bishop said to the right. Jicama seeds. One's a little brown on one side. Bit sus on that one. We shall see. I quite like planting with these. You've got a prong on one end and a scoop on the other. If they're not up in a couple of weeks, I'll soak them in warm water overnight. It won't be warm for very long though. The downside of using one of those to plant with. How will I ever recover?
It was a fairly cool morning, so I decided to do some work on the edging for the new garden bed. As I said, I decided to use rivets. First job, fix the two pieces I'd already got organised in place. If I need to fix the ends better than this, I'm happy to do it later. I don't need to do it at the moment. I think it will work fine for now. More pieces. It's going to need about 3.5 pieces of corrugated.
Right, well, some more grinding required.
Because there is a gentle slope and it's uneven, the ends of some of the pieces were a bit high against others. So it didn't all work out perfectly. I never expected it to, but I went through with the grinder and I leveled out the overlapping trouble areas. So no jagged edges are sticking up now. I knocked off after a couple of hours when it just got too hot.
I've let things cool off a bit since this morning. It's now just after 3. And I really want to get this section done today because I've got all the power tools out, etc. that I need. And we're going to have to trim a piece. Well, I'm going to have to trim a piece. About there.
I know there are plenty of quicker and easier ways to build garden beds than this, but if this is very low maintenance, then it's all going to be worth it. I'll basically get what I pay for here with time, if I can save time in the future. And this is a test bed. I don't know if everything is going to work. I don't know if weeds are going to be a problem on the paths. I've got no idea, but I'll find out. And the next one is going to be even better.
individual sections are going to need support, at least in the middle, possibly in 2 places. This is too flexible as materials go, and I was expecting an issue like this. I just waited to see if it would develop. I can use cut down sections of star picket and bang them in straight down there and see how that does. Or I might need to put 2 in per section. I don't know yet, but I intend to find out. I'll probably start with 1 and see how that shapes up. All of the weights are going to be pushing toward me from this bed. I'm going to put some soil in here and mulch on top of it, and there's not going to be any pressure pushing it inwards. So just banging in star picket segments occasionally might sort it all out for me. I do want to get it right first time though, because it's going to put a hole in the trim deck wherever I put the star pickets in. And if I have to take it out and put 2 in, got a hole there that weeds are going to grow out of. So do I bite the bullet and put 2 in per section straight away, or do I try and cheapskate out on it and use half as much cut down star picket material? That's something for future Murray to worry about. I'm going to finish packing up and do some watering. The lion's tail should look fantastic tomorrow. This is one of the beetles that I only ever find on the lion's tail. But it does attract a lot of pollinators and ants to the garden. And this is why I'm here. This is my staking. This is all my staking. I shouldn't need any other staking. Just a zig and zag all the way through, and it should hold up with no string, nothing. I've learnt the technique on these frames here, going in and out and in and out and in and out as the plants grew up. I'm sure it would work on a larger spacing. I don't like mucking around tying plants up. It's just easier to weave them in and out and in and out. I was going to double trunk this plant, or double stem this plant, and something's happened to that stem. I haven't tipped it, but it's not happy. We have a volunteer down here. I might weave that in and out and see how it goes and look for an extra cutting. I've been reading about this particular variety of tomato. There is a famous hybrid called the Sun Gold, which is an F1 cherry tomato, so it won't throw true to type. This is supposed to be a larger version of the F1, the F1 Sun Gold. It's supposed to taste fantastic. I just saw it and thought, I'll give that a shot, orange tomato, and I didn't realise any of the backstory about how spectacular it's going to be, or is famed for being, and I'm probably about to make a mistake. That looks like I could pick it now. It's the ripest, and I'm going to leave it a day. We've all done this, and the risk is that something is going to find it. But if nothing finds it overnight, I will probably do a taste test tomorrow. They're not big, but they're bigger than cherry tomatoes, and it's an open pollinated heritage variety of tomatoes. I believe it's not that old, but it will throw true to type from seed if you don't have other tomato plants it might have crossed with. And I prefer that to hybrid plants. So fingers crossed for the morning. It's a high risk strategy, right? I'm a little nervous. Yep, we're golden.
Okay, I want to eat it. I am surprisingly excited by this. I shouldn't get my hopes up, I suppose, but I've just read so much. Not particularly seedy. Ooh, smells fairly strong. Mm. That's a very good tomato. The skin is surprisingly tough. Probably helps it resist pests. Mm. Oh, I'm keeping this tomato. Oh, that's... A few moments after you start to chew it, there's a burst of wateriness and then the sweetness kicks in. It's extraordinary. Mm. Mm. I can't wait to try one of those with the Rouge de Marmande right beside it and see which one I prefer. That is fantastic. I'm going to pick the other one so that nothing gets it and it can ripen inside, and I'm going to have the rest of that shortly. That is too good. I think I have a shrewd and cunning plan. I've got an indeterminate indeterminate cherry tomato. I also bought another dwarf banana species today. And I've got a trellis. Normally in the garden, when you put these trellises in and the tomato gets to the top, you're out of luck because you can't deal with it anymore, it's too tall. But what if I put this at an angle and run the tomato plant up onto the top of the tank, and it can just spread out all over the place. I go up there often enough that there's a permanent ladder in place. That's how I pick the pawpaws. So going up there to pick tomatoes shouldn't be a problem, and it may be I can run other varieties of tomatoes up trellises wherever and have them on top of the shed too. They can take up as much space as they want up there. I mean, it's pretty huge. This could be a great plan. One of these fell down the hill behind me, so I thought I would pop them on the top for now. They shouldn't blow off there. Okay, well, what do I do first? Put the tomato in or put the trellis in? I'm going to put the tomato in first. Yep, there's been a change of plan already. Surprise, surprise. Star picket first, I think. Tomatoes on the tank. This could be the start of something big. Okay folks, place your bets in the comments. Is this going to work or is it stupid? Well, the backhoe doesn't seem to have done much. Oh, I put in some trellises and the snow peas are up already.
but one of them. It's only been, two of them. It's only been a couple of days. There's another one there. Oh, yeah. Pawpaws. Jicama. More snow peas. Yeah, two at least. It's a bit more, there's one. We shall see. More pawpaws. Tomato. I want to run that up this trellis and across the roof. We'll see how that goes, because there's plenty of room on the roof. Pawpaws. 3 up. I think I put in about 20 seeds. I'm looking like I'm going to keep that one. The mango ginger is starting to die back. I'm beginning to think I'm not going to see any flowers this year. But once it dies back, I will definitely try some. Don't know if I should take off some of these lower shoots on the pawpaw, but it continues to do well. Not that many ripening at the moment, but slowly. The calamondon's still going well. This one has started to set fruit after he got cut back because it didn't look very happy. I haven't cut down one of these two yet. More pawpaws. Still wondering if I should get rid of this one or just wait and see what happens. The pigeon pea plants, 2 of them, are trying to take over the world. And the beans nearly have taken over the world. Sword beans, that's not a very big sword. Perennial, they should last for a few years, but I might have to take them out. I have plans. Okay, garden extension. I have got this in. I've mowed this recently and that worked. I'm going to pin it down all the way along, but it was okay to mow. One piece in at the back. Apart from that, I haven't done very much in here except put in about 20 new bales of hay. And yeah, working on it. Okay. Gauze rosemary is flowering. You can eat rosemary flowers. It's just not very time efficient to put them in a salad. Sugarcane is looking quite happy. Oh, the rosellas are going nuts. I'm not really planning on doing anything with them. But, oh well, I'll remember to save some seed this year. They were self-sown. Bananas look like they're travelling along quite nicely. The wallabies have started to eat the sweet potato leaves. Wallabies or kangaroos, it could be either. So things are getting tougher around here. This isn't their first choice of pick. They've also eaten some plants up the back. Okay, got lots of bananas on. The blue Java's got what looks like a mighty bunch. That's going to be extremely difficult to deal with because they all ripen at odd stages in the blue Javas, and it's a lot higher than the one that was leaning over the fence, the last one. This blue Java hasn't thrown its flag leaf yet, but it's going to be flowering soon. These guys are still alive, not exactly powering on. The Mexican sunflowers about to flower. Probably should knock those flowers off. So those are going to be a mulch plant, and I'm going to extend this bed a bit and sort that out at some stage. It's on the list of jobs to do. I've had 2 hands off this bunch, one of about 8 and one of 19, ripened in a box with an apple. Oh, we've got another split one. There was a split one in here that I had to cut out. It was ripe, it got eaten. But, yep. Apart from that, its friend over here's got a bunch on. And there's a bunch there. These are just ordinary Cavendish. good solid bananas. Oh, I still haven't mulched this area back here. The Aibika has been a bit pounded by wallabies as well. So, yeah, that again, not preferred pick, but they do get eaten when things get a little bit drier. Apart from tidying up these banana trees, I've fertilised and mulched this bed. So the dwarf red Dakar, I'm going to have to move them, I think. I don't want bananas here when this becomes part of the other garden bed. And my, what is it, 5th bunch of bananas at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5th. Well, the lion's tail at this end of the garden is looking at its most spectacular. It's a wonderful plant. I do like it. It's a fair bit of work though, and I will explain that in a minute or two. Okay, not a lot new in here. This is skirret. I'm trying it out. It's a very old-fashioned root vegetable, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a keeper. These are shallot onions. I'm trying them by division, and I'm hoping I'm going to do okay with them. Oh, okay. Right, that's just a bit of stevia stem. I didn't know it was way over there. Let's see, these look like they're about to shoot like crazy. Or they're done for the season. Goji berry. Not sure which way that one's going to go. I have been getting snow peas off the snow pea vines. Right, here is a less happy lion's tail. The thing about the one at the front is I have been removing all of the dead stems, and that takes a fair bit of time. I'm sure it's called the lion's tail because the lion has a long skinny tail with a fluffy bit on the end. But it doesn't look so good unless you actually go through and you remove the dead flowers, which is a lot of work on a larger plant. Now, this to me tells me that the soil back here is much worse than the soil up the front. These plants were put in the same time. One is spectacular and one is pretty weedy. I'm planning on top dressing this with soil from down the gully, this whole back section here, and trying to improve the soil. I've been working on improving the soil for years. It's just taken a while. Okay. I haven't dug out the 2 tomatoes in front. Oh, that one's dying. I put some new tomatoes in. I really thought those 2 would look... Put some new Rouge de Mamons on this trellis, thinking I was going to take out the other 2 that were much smaller and weedier. And yeah, they died, so good thing I put in some new ones. The next batch of snow peas has, well, that's ready to eat. I'll have that in a couple of minutes. Has started to produce. There's more over there. This back garden, this new bed, the daikon radish have worked. I'm going to let them get bigger and then decide. I'm probably going to turn them in as a green manure crop. I mean, obviously I'm not trying to grow that many daikon radish. But the buckwheat failed. I put buckwheat in first. The daikon worked, so that's good. Now, this is a pretty little sweet potato. I have to relocate these sweet potatoes on the trellises. Put them in somewhere else. I was going to put them in earth. I was going to pop in between the banana trees, but as the wallabies are starting to eat sweet potatoes, I'm going to have to protect them better. Okay, I think we go back to the front and start down there now, don't we? Okay, real favourite at the moment. What's happened in here? That is a fantastic tomato. Absolutely spectacular. I've had 2 of them now, one of which I gave away. And there's one in the kitchen. That's probably... Oh, okay, I've got 2 more coming. Definitely going to leave that second stem at the bottom there to come up. I don't know what's happened with that one. I do want cuttings of this. I am going to leave another litre or 2 because I want more of this. It's too good. It's like a big cherry tomato. Okay, I've lost my seeds, so I can't replant the seeds that haven't come up. I have to track those down. So, what else? Yeah, I'm going to get rid of a couple of these. I'll get rid of those 2, I think. Stevia, I just have more than I ever need, and that's a very robust plant. It's several years old now. Okay, this down here, there's 2 plants in here. This is arrowroot, not Queensland arrowroot, true arrowroot, and I need to cut all that right back and cut this one off just above the ground and let it come back to life next year, or when the weather warms up. It's a periodic thing. I'll chuck the mulch over the fence, of course. These guys look crazy. A little sad and wilty, but there's so much society garlic in there. Oh, wow. Growing wild. I might try and transplant that. That's a toothache plant. One of these that's come up from seed. There's some down the front as well. The Rouge de Mamons, one of my favourite tomatoes of all time. Oh, got to prune it a bit. Let's take off these extra suckers and just leave 2 main trunks from 2 plants. But they're looking quite robust. Okay, what are we up to back here? These snow peas can't be far off flowering. And obviously I've got 2 new ones out the front of the concrete water tank. What else? Plenty of opioid lettuce. Oh, I've connected 2 soaker hoses together that run from this end of the bananas all the way around the whole front of the banana bed across there. So if I come up here and I plug the hose in, it will do the whole bed with the soaker hose. So that was one job I didn't bother showing you. There's been a few, but yeah, you probably were aware of that. I'm going to have to save some of these seeds for next season. The purple winged beans, nearly finished. What else? Well, I think that's about it, really. Yep, that's the changes. I've been trying to kill this choco vine and it hasn't worked, so I might just see if I get any more chocos off it. It's coming on for winter. It's the second last day of autumn. Yeah, May, okay. So we're about to hit winter. Oh, I think these are harlequin bugs. They're a bit of a sap-sucking pest, but they love this. I've not seen them on any other plants other than the lion's tail. And I need to actually come out here and do a survey of what insects are attracted to it at different times of the day. At times it's very popular with bees. Oh, it makes a terrible tasting tea. If you like bitter, ooh, powerful stuff. Okay folks, that's the lap. I hope I can get this done in time to get it up on the 31st. Huge video. Hope you liked it. Have a good one.